It's Kristen from Chrissy's Cuties.
Hey Dolly fans! Today I'm going to be going over how to make bows. You can obviously sculpt bows, but if you don't want to sculpt bows, you want to make them out of regular ribbon, I'm going to show you different methods of how to make them. Now there's the typical bow, which is like this, and I'm going to show you how to make that. And then there's a special bow that I don't think I've ever shown you guys how to use. This one's pretty cool, and it's actually a lot easier to make than you would think. I have made a few dolls with this bow, and I've also made the dolls with the typical bows. I'll show some of those at the end of this video. I do have my model here. Say hello, Curious Cutie. So I'm going to be putting her to the side, and I'll show you how to make different bows that we can put in her hair after we're done customizing her. So first I'm going to show you the typical bow. The typical bow is just tying a bow. Let me find some ribbon here. I'll use the black because it's kind of easy to see. So you would just take the ribbon, make 2 loops, cross one over the other, pull it through, and I kind of flip it over, and I play with it a little bit until I can get it right. Pull the ends, make it a little tighter. If I need the bow smaller, I just keep pulling the ends and making the middle part tighter and tighter until it's about the size that I want. And this one's a little big on her, but sometimes you want a mid bow, so that might be the perfect size if you really want it to stand out. It is big ribbon, so it will be a big bow no matter what you do to it. I do also want to show you for the ends here, I always use fray check, and I put a little bit on the end, and then I let it, I usually hold it like this, and then I put it in something to hold it up until the ends dry. That way I don't have to worry about them fraying and breaking apart. So fray check is what I use for that. There it is. I think I bought that in Joann's. Okay, how about a smaller bow? Let's use the little tiny ribbon. And what if we wanted to do a little tiny bow? Well, you start out the same. You make 2 loops, tie one around the other, and pull. But you want to make it really small, so you would keep pulling the ends until it was tiny, tiny, tiny. See, that's not even as small as I want it. I really want it tiny. So you just keep making it tighter and tighter until you get this little tiny bow. See, little tiny bow. And that would fit right there on her. So that's how you do a tinier bow. And then of course you just clip the ends, put the fray check on it, let it dry, and then you can glue it to your doll's head. Okay, so that takes care of the regular type of bow, and as you can see on this one I added some a flower to the middle to make it prettier. On the tinier ones I also have some of these. You can get these at Michael's. They're little gems, and I'll put them on the middle sometimes to pretty up the center of the bow. So that's another idea for you. Okay, so moving on to the little more difficult bows, which are actually super easy because you use a fork to make them. Now I have 2 different size forks here. As you can see, one's a lot smaller than the other. You want the longer tines, and I'll show you why you're going to use this one in a minute, but for right now I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to take the really thin ribbon that I was just using. Oops, I forgot to get the bow out of there. There we go. Okay, so you would take the ribbon, and you would start on one side. Let me move my clip here. Start on one side and you weave it in and out of the fork tines. And then you go the other way and you push it down. And you just go back and forth until you get the size bow that you want. Now, I did not come up with this idea. I actually found it on YouTube watching videos on how to make Christmas decorations. She showed how to make bows like this, and I thought they were so cool that I made a couple for some unicorns that I did a while back. Okay, so once you have a pretty decent amount, you can make more, you can make them less. This one is going to give 3 on each side. So we'll do 3 loops on each side for this one. So once you get it to this point, you just cut off the end a little bit, leave yourself some extra over here, and then you push this up ever so slightly so that you can get underneath here. Then you use the same color ribbon, or you can use a different color ribbon if you want to make it look two-tone. As long as the ribbon is the same thickness as the other ribbon or thinner than the other ribbon, you can use this. So I'm gonna have to put this down in order to do this because I need both hands. But what you do is you weave it into here and here, so you have it tied in the middle there. And then you tighten it. Tighten it real good. And then you knot it. Just one knot is fine. You can do more than one if you want to. But this is what it looks like knotted. And then you just slide it off. And now you have your 3-looped bow. You can leave it like this. You can add the little gems to the center like I did for this one. But that's how you get that type of bow. Now what happens if you use a thicker ribbon like this one? For the thicker ribbon, you want to use the bigger fork. And I'm going to use a purple ribbon this time. It's got purple with white on the edges. And I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to weave it until it gets to the top of the fork. Please excuse the noise if you hear anything in the background. My cat has found something fun to play with, so she is now knocking it all over my kitchen. Who else has pets out there? Let me know in the descriptions what you have. A cat, a dog? What kind of animal do you have that disrupts your daily business? Okay, so all I'm doing now is I'm weaving this all the way to the top of the fork. I think I can get one more in, maybe. It may squish it a little, but that's okay. All right, so I got that many. I may have to get rid of the top row only because I don't know if yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of the top row. Okay, so we'll have 2 loops on each side. And I am going to get white for the middle this time because it matches pretty well. I'm gonna cut a piece off. And again, what we are going to do is push that up a little bit, and you want to weave it through here. Yeah, get in there. Okay. You pull it through the back. Oops, sorry, my finger's in the way. And then you bring it back down through the same one. Oops. Let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you have it going in this way and coming out that way. So it's looped around. And then you just tie it. You gotta tie it tight, guys. You don't tie it tight, it's gonna fall apart on you. And it's times like these I wish I had those little fingers to hold on to this while I'm doing this. Sometimes it's easier to have a third hand while you're working. Alright, so I'm doing the best I can here. If it's a little loose, I apologize, but that's the best I can do. Alright. So it looks like we got it all set now, and you pull it off the fork, and ta-da! This one only came out 2 loops, and it is kind of loose because I didn't have an extra hand. I would say, I'm going to try to do this, and I am totally experimenting now, so bear with me. But I'm going to loop it around and see if I can get it to be a little tighter. Okay, so I looped it back around to the back.
I probably shouldn't have tried to use this type of ribbon for this demonstration because it's a little bit thicker than a normal wider ribbon would be. You want a thinner, wider ribbon. This one is a little bit too thick.
There. So if you get it a little tighter, see, this one came out really bad. I'm gonna have to redo this one. Okay, epic fail, but you get the idea. And I think the reason why this was so bad is because the ribbon is a lot thicker than I'm used to. So, but you get the idea. This is how the bigger ribbon looks. And this is how the bigger, this one was a little bit thinner ribbon, because you can see through it. And then I just tied a thinner ribbon around it, and I put a flower on top of it. I glued the flower. See? For gluing fabric together, the best kind of glue to use for fabric is Fabri-Tac glue. It's see-through, and you can get it at Joann's. I'm pretty sure you can get it at Michael's too. But you can glue the flowers on that way. I didn't have any on me, so I kind of used a mix between E6000, which doesn't really hold fabric well, and this liquid stitch. The liquid stitch holds really, really well. The only problem is you have to pinch it together for a long time. So if you're going to use the liquid stitch, get yourself some of these clips or some of these clips to hold your work together while it's drying. Okay, and then of course she looks super cute with the bow on. I just wanted to mention that these are some of the flowers I find. Usually I find them at Michael's or Joann's or any kind of arts and crafts store. Hobby Lobby's another good one. So these are some of the flowers that I use, and I love using them. So pretty. And also these are the jewels that I use. And these are usually in the sticker aisle. You'll find them in one of the sticker aisles. I have hearts, I have regular circles, all sorts of shapes and sizes. I hope that helped with all of your bows. Have fun with them. They can be a lot of fun to do. You just need practice and just keep trying different things until the thing works for you. I've gone through many things of ribbon by using trial and error, and some work and some don't work so much. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Here are some examples of my dolls with their bows. One is a tiny one. And then we have a really large one for Jojo. And then we have a really fancy one for this unicorn. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you'll see all of our upcoming videos. And remember to click on the bell so that you'll be notified when we release them. Thank you so much for watching today. If you'd like to see more videos, just click on one of the links.